Jamie Copenhaver, former sheriff's detective and investigator, joining us live now. James, always good talking with you. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Garrett. Same here.
So first of all, just give me your reaction to this video and what we see go down.
Shocking and alarming. I mean, as we progress in the world of technology and AI and these deep fakes, I mean, you have this deputy pretty much minding his own business. Someone shows him this video, and the next thing you know, this deputy is going to run to the danger of someone allegedly breaking into his car. You saw his hand on his weapon. So, it's a felony to break into a vehicle, and you certainly don't know what you're going to anticipate when you get out there. So the deputy acted appropriately, but once again, he got faked out by an AI deep fake video. It's scary.
Yeah, and you talk about thinking there could be some sort of dangerous situation that they're then responding to, and then that creates danger of its own as they respond to a call that isn't there.
Thank gosh it didn't happen, but let's look at as to what could have happened. When the deputy ran outside of that building, we all seen that. It was, I'm assuming, live on TikTok or social media. What would have happened if some bystander would have been stopped at this patrol car, tying his shoe or what have you, and this deputy approached? Pretty good chance that person's going to probably be put on the ground at gunpoint because the deputy doesn't know what's going on. And it's a risk-taking move by these deepfake authors of these deep fake videos. And, the legislature is going to have to do something in order to call those in and get it under control.
We've talked about swatting before. I mean, this is essentially just kind of the next step of that, a tech-savvy swatting.
Well, it is. And, we've seen out in Texas, a swatting call ended up a guy lost his life on a swatting call by a neighbor. So, these things are certainly dangerous. And, I think the governor and the attorney general is going to have to get out ahead of this and maybe perhaps go to these platforms and say, hey, here's an issue, here's a problem. Your system needs to identify what's real and what's fake and filter that out so it's not shown to the general public. Because I'm telling you, Garrett, it could cause loss of life. It could cause someone getting injured. But more importantly, it could cause resources such as these swatting calls. It's all hands on deck. You're going to have an entire platoon of deputies or officers responding to that swatting call for a fake call.
And Jamie, it's kind of concerning. In this case, it was someone breaking into a deputy's cruiser, but we know the capabilities of AI. We know how realistic things can look. So there could be even more dangerous situations that are kind of simulated in this manner that could create even more risk.
Well, and of course, and you're going to have copycats, right? You're going to see this on the social media platforms. Oh, that's cool. Let's prank this deputy or let's prank this officer. But, let's go a step further. What if it's at a deputy or officer's home and you show some type of graphic scene where this deputy is potentially involved? Now it amps up the entire process because now you have a potential deputy on an AI deep video, fake video, potentially causing harm in his house or the neighborhood. It's going to generate a different type of response, if you will. And, like I said, it's incumbent upon the legislature and our leaders to get ahead of this and at least try to get this filtered down on the social media platforms. I know that I use an AI generated platform. It's fun, right? You can have a lot of fun making these videos and these crazy videos, but when you start posting those videos as if they're true and real, it certainly puts a lot of folks in danger.
And what is a deputy supposed to do in that situation as well when someone comes in and shows you that?
I mean, he did exactly what he's trained to do. He got up, we saw him run full sprint out to the parking lot. Didn't pull his gun, but he certainly was ready to do that to face that potential felon that's breaking into his car. So, great job by the deputy on his response. And like I said, this could have played out a lot different, Garrett, if we'd had a shopper or a bystander standing beside that marked patrol unit. And I can assure you it would have been gun out on the ground until they determined that it was a fake, deep fake AI. But like I said, I mean, it looks fun on the internet and it's cool to maybe prank people, but it's going too far, and we've got to get ahead of this to stop it before it gets worse.
Well, and I mean, what's the difference between something like this and, filing a false police report?
Well, and you hit the nail on the head. I mean, anytime you give bad information or fake or false information to law enforcement, such as this happened right here. I mean, it's a crime, right? It's a misdemeanor. So perhaps enhance that crime, especially when it deals with AI deepfakes. Let's enhance it to a felony, and that's certainly going to help deter people because, a misdemeanor and a felony is a huge difference in terms of the charging elements and what the exposure is. So, I would encourage the legislature to take a look at this. If it's any type of fake videos that are being produced by AI, let's bump that up to perhaps a felony charge rather than a misdemeanor charge. That will help deter people. But it just opens the door as technology grows. It's being used in a perverted way, if you will, and it's going to harm some people, I think.
Well, and just another, yeah, and just another way that it kind of shows that it's hard for the law and institutions to kind of keep up with the pace at which AI is accelerating and changing things.
I mean, we could go down a host of scenarios, schools, malls. I mean, the sky's the limit on making these AI deepfake videos. So, what if you would have a individual that would create a active shooter in a mall? It's going to be all hands on deck. Here's the problem. You're going to have bystanders in that mall that's going to be approached by the police, rightfully so, on a fake AI deepfake. So, I mean, the technology's great, Garrett, but it's just being used in a perverted way that we've got to get a handle on it. I don't know if this AI stuff is as good as what they say in terms of helping technology and people live their day-by-day lives, but internet crimes need to be enhanced in terms of penalties. If you commit a crime on the internet, it needs to be bumped up to a felony. That would help curtail some of the stuff, and start putting people in jail. I mean, that's the only deterrent.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's kind of concerning to see how this is going to be used, how it will likely not be the only person, because we know it's a culture that's looking for those things to go viral on those social media platforms, as this video has. And so you would certainly expect to see more of it. And that has to be concerning from a law enforcement perspective as well. The next time someone shows you video of something like that, it may be kind of in the back of your mind. Do I believe this? Do I not?
Well, I mean, that would measure the response you would think of law enforcement. But here's the good thing about it. No matter if it's real or fake, law enforcement's going to respond to that, and they're going to respond to it in a timely fashion. They're going to respond, as we see this deputy, hand on the gun, ready to go to work, right? But the caveat to that is you have someone behind this deputy, following the deputy, live streaming this. In my opinion, that person, if connected to this, and if he's responsible for this deepfake AI video, he needs to be arrested immediately by law enforcement and make an example of it, if you will, because especially the swatting calls. Some of these are hard to prove because of the VPNs and the other masking tools that are used, but we've got to get our internet crimes units in law enforcement to combat this. I think the Attorney General needs to step in. We saw him in Miami today on the cold case project they're doing, but I really encourage our leaders to get involved and start enhancing these penalties and start putting people in jail for it. It's not fun and games. It's serious business.
All right, Jamie Copenhaver, former sheriff's detective and investigator. Always appreciate your perspective, and thanks for chatting with us today here on Fox 35 News Plus.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.